that with all of this excitement, everything going on here, is this latest Trump committing treason news story getting just completely lost in the news cycle? Speaking of protesters, he's apparently trying to influence Netanyahu to not do a ceasefire because it would help Kamala Harris. I mean, Randy Singer said asking a foreign leader to keep a war going, allowing more death, more pain and suffering for human hostages to help his election chances is a new low for Trump that should surprise nobody on earth. I mean, but kind of a big effing deal, right?
Yeah, and the only way that we found out about it, it was sort of slipped by someone from PBS NewsHour. And it just like as a side comment, everyone's like, wait, what? Donald Trump has been calling Netanyahu. Look, when he came here and went to Mar-a-Lago, that was a coordination meeting. That was Netanyahu. Look, I'm going to be quite frank. You guys know that I understand the Israeli perspective on this war. I understand why it's being fought. I personally think this war could have been won and over 4 months ago.
Wow.
Thank you.
Give Hamas this victory coming into in October 7th, the first anniversary, will be 1 year. One year that they have defied you. And there's only one way to explain that. All right?
I mean,
not
Brooklyn,
trying very hard.
Yeah. I mean, Brooklyn, Dad, talk about that for a minute, because that's the thing everybody's rooting for that's wanted to divide Democrats is the Gaza issue. And, here we've got, as Malcolm said, Netanyahu's a far-right crook like Trump who's trying to stay out of jail. He wants to keep this going, to stay out of jail, and to get Donald Trump back in office so he can just flatten Gaza.
My tweet today was good morning and happy Wednesday to everyone who agrees that if it's true that Donald Trump is colluding with Netanyahu to prevent a ceasefire, that Merrick Garland needs to get up off his butt and indict him immediately for violating the Logan Act. And how is this normal? How is this normal when a former president is sticking his nose in the United States business and working against our best interest?
Wajahat Ali, by the way, Malcolm, who said kind of a big deal. Trump, a private citizen, is reaching out to a foreign leader, in this case Netanyahu, and illegally asking him not to end this disastrous war before the elections because it will help Harris. Major headline news type of stuff.
Yep.
But, they're too busy talking about, clutch the pearls. Is Kamala, trolling Trump too hard or whatever it is?
The tan suit.
A-level trolling.
It was beautiful.
But Malcolm, just give us your thoughts on this.
Well, it's not the first time he's done it. You guys recall minutes after the 2016 election was called, he was already out there. Jared Kushner was meeting with the Russians, asking for a secret encrypted communications network so that U.S. intelligence wouldn't hear what he and the Russians were talking about. Well, what's his name? Mike Flynn went and met the Russian ambassador and was telling them to, that the United States is going to do this. Just hold off for another 30 days after our inauguration. All of this is illegal. And for Bibi Netanyahu, people are dying. Palestinians are dying. Israelis are dying. Hostages are dying and being executed. So I don't understand. Now I understand why, Gallant, left the government, because these guys are showing that they are willing to use the entire stability of the Middle East for his own personal purposes.
And God knows what he's
elected and pull him out.
God knows what he's cooking up with Putin. I still keep talking about him saying there's definitely going to be a terrorist attack on American soil before the election. I'm like, what do you know that we don't, right?
Right. And if you know something, tell us.
October surprise.
Right.
That's what he's thinking.
John Pavlovitz said Trump is preventing a ceasefire in Gaza. He is a global cancer. I mean, Malcolm, you talk about that all the time. He is not just a cancer on America. He is, as was it Barack and Obama saying, the world is watching to see what we're going to do, right?
Yeah. All of this has a knockdown effect. And here's the worst part of this entire discussion. And you guys know I've written about this in at least 5 books.
Yes.
It's because the people who are on our side, who are decent and dignified and think that the system is running stable as it is, they don't really understand the impact of Project 2025, and their plans requires them, 1, to win, and then 2, they don't care if they don't win anyway. So that what you're seeing actions that are building in a crescendo where Trump is coordinating on the basis that he's going to rule this country in another 80 some odd days. And he's got global leaders, Putin, Netanyahu, doing things which are against the interests of the United States, but which is in their personal interest. But they need these things checklisted and done before the election, so that the night of the election, we all know what the strategy is going to be. Steve Bannon's strategy of they are going to call the election for themselves that night, result damned. And
let's take a happy moment, though, to remember that Steve Bannon's currently in jail.
Yes.
I don't. Does he have to pay quarters to watch the television?
I think he might.
I don't even think he gets TV time.
He's going to be doing a lot more things to get them to change the channel.
Well, Malcolm, you cover the books for adults, and Brooklyn Dad covered the books for kids. This is his first book was fantastic, The Littlest President. This is The Bigliest Loser. Look at these illustrations. This is the best. This is how you raise sexy liberals. Look at this with the throwing ketchup.
Beautiful for framing.
Exactly.
Talk to us a little bit about this and the inspiration for doing a follow-up.
Well, I had to do a follow-up, and this one actually. So the first book came out before we knew that Joe Biden was our nominee, and it came out. I was working on it and published it before COVID actually really. Sank into the American psyche and started killing off thousands and thousands of people. And in The Bigliest Loser, I do cover that. And it's important, very important to me, because despite the fact that The Bigliest Loser is a humorous book, it's very funny. It's got a lot of funny pictures in it. But there's very serious content.
Sure.
I feel like too many Americans are ready to gloss over.
It's Governor Whitmer. Sorry.
Oh my goodness!
Oh my God!
Rich.
We love you so much.
We love you.
We love you so much, Governor Whitmer. Sorry. I'm sorry.
Even saying?
Sorry. God, I'm such a star effer. Such a political nerd.
There are too many Americans who are ready to gloss over the last year of Donald Trump's presidency, the disastrous last year where he totally botched the response to COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
And he can't get away with that.
No.
And giving him a second term would let him get away with totally screwing the country. So that's covered in the book.
Yeah.
The hopefulness is covered in the book. And this was originally supposed to be published in June, but there was something was messing with my brain. I couldn't finish the content. And as soon as Joe passed the torch to Kamala, I was like, bingo, let's go.
Yeah, it's like the whole country just lit up like a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
Malcolm, I was going to say, this is why you and Brooklyn Dad and like JoJo from Jurors, all our beloveds, this is why I know how effective you are, because the MAGAs are so mean to you guys on social media.
That's right.
And, it is, I know, somebody tweeted at JoJo after she was at Sexy Liberal, oh, are you going to go hit up the mobile abortion van, ho-ho? But I mean, when you were saying before the break about Barack Obama, as he always does, calling us to our better angels. Talk a little bit about that, because it's hard, isn't it? Because I'm like, but they're such douchebags, Barack.
Yeah.
Do we have to be?
I thought he made a brilliant analogy talking about how sometimes your grandparents that you love dearly, they say things that are a little bit cringe because they haven't caught up with the times. The times are moving quickly. There are things that are happening. There are political correctnesses that people are not ready to embrace yet. They're just not there yet.
My mother, who just passed at 100, when she saw a picture of me and Frangela, she asked if Francis was Chinese. And I was like, Mom, no, she's African American. Do you know any black people, Mom?
No, does she know any Chinese people?
Yeah, right.
But Malcolm, you were a former Republican. You're a service, obviously you and your whole family served this country. I mean, you look at the embodiment of like Tim Walz, there are ways we can connect as human beings. I mean, Barack Obama always makes me want to be a better person.
Absolutely. And I got to tell you, the way that they spoke last night on the floor, every few minutes, it was one of these hallmark guy cry moments.
It's onions. Someone's cutting onions. I'm not crying.
You made the tough spy cry.
It's like, oh my gosh. I can't believe you said that. Excuse me here. I'm not crying.
All
You're
right.
crying.
Someone on social media just called Malcolm the F word for gay man. Okay.
Again? Hey, let me tell you, there's a lot of guys in Soho, London that would wish that were true. But, I gotta tell you
all the ladies at Fleet Week tell me different.
Well, I got to tell you what's really funny about this is that, when I was watching that last night and Doug Emhoff was up there describing his beautiful blended family and how Kamala became, Mamala. And I just kept thinking, good God, we are good people.
Yeah.
We are people of good heart. We are decent, we are kind, we are compassionate, we are caring, and yes, I get a little shouty and use the F-bombs all the time because I'm your spirit animal, but these guys on the other side, I'm sorry, folks, they just weirdos.
Yeah.
Real
Oh God,
weirdos.
so weird.
I love that stuck.
Bad
Oh,
weird.
so
That's a
weird.
good view,
Yeah.
I mean, but to your point, Malcolm, about, so many amazing moments from Michelle Obama, but to your point about racism, I love she said we cannot indulge our anxieties about whether this country will elect someone like Kamala instead of doing everything we can to get someone like Kamala elected. I mean, those were some of the fears. Remember, Malcolm, when all the fantasy football and, open convention and whatever, I don't know, black woman, can we, it's like, President Biden, God bless him, it was said, go.
Can I speak on Kamala Harris?
Yes, please.
Because I kind of sensed leading up to Joe stepping aside, passing it to Kamala Harris, I sensed that something was going on, and there were all these people coming out and saying, "Oh, he's too old," and maybe these people are suggesting he step aside. It felt to me like they didn't want Kamala Harris, and so I was kind of relieved. I was relieved that Joe said, "This is who
that would have
I'm
blown up the
endorsing."
party.
Yeah.
If we stepped over the first sitting black woman vice president, that would have blown up the party.
This took me back to the 2019 K-Hive period, where a lot of people were coming after her with knives, and just describing her as not black. There were these blacks out there, and I was just like, what is she doing here other than merely existing?
Yep.
Yeah.
They hate so much. And you're right. There was a cadre of people who might have been in the, not Trump Republican side who were saying, now we have an open convention and we choose someone else. She's already on the ticket. She's already got 81 million votes.
Thank you.
She
It wasn't
was
a coup.
elected. It wasn't a coup. How do you have a coup from someone who was actually elected?
And also, she got the delegates, Malcolm. They didn't have to go with her. She got them in record time.
She's the Harris in Biden Harris.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait a minute. All right, wait. Do both of you guys have to leave me? We have to break, but
I'm good.
Can you hang out for one more segment?
Sweet. Yeah. Oh, I hate it when all the handsome men leave. Okay. We'll be back with Malcolm Nance and Brooklyn Dad Defiant. Squeeze.